to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back once again. It is Sunday afternoon, and I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And there's been a lot going on, and I just kind of wanted to start off today's podcast with a little piece of audio. I mean, we'll get right into it, and we'll get to the small talk toward the end of the show. Now, I will apologize. This is the best piece of audio of this clip that I could find available to me online. So the audio isn't perfect, but we'll play it, and then we'll discuss it afterwards.
Let me ask you this: Do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are down.
Okay.
We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so like I'm pretty much in shock, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm a little pissed off, to be even really honest with you. So I'm a little taken back by the whole thing, but I can tell you this, I take that very serious, and so does he, as a matter of fact. Like, I don't know anything about him saying shit like that, and I'm going to be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. You know, I'm trying to be honest with you, I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all and get him interested in the outdoors. Mm-hmm. Like on my phone.
And get him away from those video games.
Exactly right. That's the God honest truth. And the picture on my phone is him with blood on his cheeks from shooting his first deer. It was just the greatest day ever. Yeah, so he knows the seriousness of weapons and what they can do and how to use them and not use them. So it's kind of a little bit of a shock. So in whatever y'all are telling him, please instill in him that if this is whatever or wherever this is coming from, it's no joke.
No.
Like, it's no joke.
But we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know. And I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit. Okay. All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah,
scary. Are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school, and is everything okay? That's why I keep going up there.
No.
You know, because you never really know, and I don't want anything to happen to him, so... Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, well, if you want to grab them.
Yeah, y'all talk.
Or we can go in.
It's all cool.
So in case, you've been sleeping and you haven't paid attention to what's been going on over the last couple of days, that was the father of the Georgia school shooter. The kid, I think he was 16 or 16 years old, that somehow snuck an AR-15 rifle into his school, and I think he murdered 4 people. Killed 4 people in that school, and that was the father. And that was an interview done by law enforcement, because just like many, many, many other school shooters, it seems like they've all had previous contact, usually right around a year earlier, with law enforcement, and usually because they're making some kind of threat online, something like that, and then law enforcement, FBI, local law enforcement, they get in touch, and they chat with him. And that was when they were talking to the father, and it sounds like toward the last bit of that interview, they were going to bring out the kid and talk to him about these so-called threats that he had made online. Now, there's, we only know what we're told. We only know what we hear on the news or read online or just see in the media, right? And I'm kind of really torn about this one, because this father has since, even though this was a year ago, we had the shooting that took place a couple days ago, he has been charged. And I don't have the charges all written in, well, actually I do. Let me pull it up. I didn't make note of that today. Let's see. Colin Gray, that's the father. He's being charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. So he's being charged with that, and he's the father. Okay, I'm a little torn by this. This is something that I'm torn by, because they said online, they said in the news that he had, after that encounter with law enforcement, where he knew that there might have been a problem with his son making these threats, even though the son had denied making them. He went out and he purchased a rifle, I think a hunting rifle or something, for his son, because he was trying to get him in the outdoors. He was taking him hunting, all that stuff. I kind of maybe have a little bit of a problem with that to a certain extent. I don't know his motives. I don't know that he obviously did that on purpose, so his son would then take that rifle or take a rifle and take it to school and shoot up the school. I honestly believe what that father was saying when he talked to law enforcement. In that interview that you just heard, I believe him. He sounded sincere to me. He sounded like he was a parent. He was struggling because his kid was getting bullied at school. He was trying to spend time with him. As they joked about it in the interview, he was trying to keep him away from those video games. He was trying to teach them about firearms and just get him interested in something else. Good, outdoor father-son activity type stuff. I really believe him in that. But when you know that your son has possibly made these threats and then you give him a firearm on top of it, I kind of question that a little bit, right? Do I think he should be charged with all this stuff? Honestly, I don't. I don't know what should happen, to be truthful. This all started back at a Michigan case, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, where another kid went up and shot up the school. And his parents got charged because the kid got the firearm from the parents. Now, here's the thing. Firearm or not, if the firearms would have been locked up, the kid probably would have just stole them. He would have found a way to get them. If he couldn't access firearms, there's knives, there's this, there's that. I mean, laws don't stop, criminals from doing bad things. They're gonna find a way to do it no matter what. But I really am looking forward to the future. I'm not looking forward to the future, but looking at what could be happening in the future as far as this case, as far as we're starting to see parents be drug into these. Now, are the parents 100% responsible? No, maybe not 100% responsible, but, we can't base gun owners off of one set of parents or one person. We just can't do it. We talk about that in shootings, right? You don't blame the gun, you blame the shooter, and you can't blame all shooters, all people who are gun enthusiasts and collect firearms and like to shoot legally, lawfully abiding gun owners and base them off of one bad person. You just can't do that. And I'm afraid what's going to happen is this is what's going to happen with these parents or with the parents of kids moving forward. I think what they're going to do is they're going to tell you that if you got kids in the home, maybe you shouldn't have a firearm, that you're not responsible enough to raise your kids. They're already telling you that you're harming your kids when you don't give them the gender-affirming care stuff that some of these kids are convinced that they need and they want. They're proving to you that you can't raise your kids, that you obviously can't do a good job, that you're irresponsible. Maybe you shouldn't have those firearms in your home, or maybe you shouldn't have kids at all. So let's let the state raise them. Let's let the country raise them. The government raise those kids. They're proving to you that they're going to prove now that you are irresponsible. Gun owners are irresponsible. They shouldn't have guns if they have kids in the house. And it's just going to go downhill from there. There's one more thing for them to use. Do I think this guy should be charged? I don't know if I am or not. I don't like it that they are taking from the actual shooter and they're pulling stuff off of him and guilt off of them and placing it on someone else. You should be responsible for your kids. You should be responsible with your firearms, right? I have firearms, obviously. I keep my guns locked up. My older kids, they know the combination to the safe if they need to get in there and get something out. I'll be straight up honest with you. They know that combination. Do I have guns laying around the house? Not really, no. I mean, I have my carry gun, which is on me or within reach of me at all times, just in case I need it. It lays on my nightstand, holstered on my nightstand next to me in case I need it. That's what self-defense weapons are for. They're to be accessible if I need them in an emergency. Now, do I trust my kids that the only kid I have in my house right now is my 10-year-old. Do I trust my 10-year-old that he's not going to grab that gun and do something stupid with it? I do, but would I leave it down where he can get his hands on it? No. Not purposely. I would not do that. I don't want to take that risk. I don't want to take that chance. this is just a real, I don't know. This is a new turn as far as prosecuting school shooters is going. This is a whole new thing that they're starting to do when they're starting to come after the parents now. It's very interesting to watch, and I'll be honest, it's quite concerning. I think if we're going to do that, where does it stop? So let's talk about that. Where does it stop? FBI, law enforcement, from what I'm taking in the articles that I read, they knew that there was something possibly up with this kid. They saw the comments that they assumed the child was making, enough so that they went to his house to talk to him and his father, right? They knew that, but yet they did nothing. Now, did they have anything solid? I guess if the kid denies it, how are you going to prove it? I don't know. I'm not in law enforcement. They said they were going to keep an eye on him, and then the kid changed schools, right? So do you hold law enforcement responsible for that? Do you hold, they said the kid was being bullied in school. Why was there bullying? Why wasn't it stopped? Why wasn't it addressed? The dad says that he knew that the bullying was going on and that he had gone to the school many different times to address this bullying, to help his child out, to keep an eye on his child, I'm assuming, right? To talk to the school about what could be done, maybe to stop it. Yet it didn't stop, or yet it proceeded to the point of this kid got a firearm and did what he did. Well, was it the school's fault? Not directly, but maybe if they had helped stop it or taken different actions to do so, so maybe the school officials should be held responsible. There's a lot of different things, we could just go on and on and on. I also heard from a pretty respected source that in this school, one of their rules in the school was that, of course, the outside doors are locked, and that the classroom doors, when class is in session, the classroom doors are locked. Now, if someone needs to get up, they unlock the door, they let them out, they lock it behind them. When they want to come back in, they knock on the door, and someone looks outside to see who it is, and if it's good to go, they let them back in and lock the door behind them again. Well, I was told by, like I said, a pretty good source who was there or knew of this, and said that the kid who was the shooter, they started school, he had to use the bathroom, he asked to leave. He got up, they unlocked the door, they let him out, they locked the door behind him. He went supposedly was going to go to the bathroom. Well, he went and then he retrieved that rifle from wherever he stashed it. He came back to that classroom, realized the door was locked. He knocked on the door. Some kids went to let him in. They looked out, they saw him with the rifle, and they backed away from the door. They didn't let him in. He realized he wasn't going to get in. He then turned and started shooting. He then turned and tried some other doors. They were locked until he found a classroom a classroom that had the door unlocked. A classroom where a teacher had failed to unlock the door. So would there have been less death? Would there have been less problems if that teacher had remembered to lock that door? Maybe we should be going after that teacher as well as the school. I mean, there's lots of factors here. If we're going to go after the parents, let's go after all of them, right? Let's go after all of them. Anyone that possibly contributed to this. Let's do that. Why aren't we going after those? This is very interesting to me as well. There is a lot of different, let's think about it. Uvalde school, we know what a mess that was. But how did that shooter get into the school? That shooter got into the school through an outside door that should have been locked, but was propped open with a rock because kids were coming and going because they were having a party or they were some kind of activity. So the teacher or the students ended up propping open the door. I think a teacher propped open the door with a rock to let students in and out of the school. A door that should have been locked. Why did it need to be locked? It needed to be locked for safety reasons, for security reasons, to prevent something like this happening. But over and over and over again, we see that there are people that break the rules. The teacher broke the rules at Uvalde. The teacher broke the rules, at this Georgia school. And then bad things happened. right? Yet we want to do what? I'm not against having firearms in school, but yeah, we want to arm teachers. We want to arm teachers that say, some teachers say, I want to carry a gun. I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, it's more than just carrying a gun in school. It's about following the rules, right? And we just want to arm anyone and let them in the schools. I agree with that, with the right training, with the right everything. But you can't just have a teacher that just wants to carry because they can't even follow the rules enough to do what? To lock the door. It's a simple procedure. Lock that door, right? We have to look at the big picture here. There's a lot of people at fault. If we're going to go after the dad, then we need to go after each and every one that had a hand in this, because I think there was a lot of balls dropped. I think, honestly, the best solution would be to find out about this, look into mental health issues. I don't have the answer. I know that keeps being something that we just regurgitate over and over and over again is mental health, mental health, mental health. Every one of these people, these kids, these horrible, evil people that do these school shootings, they all have extreme mental health issues. I hate to say it, I hate to judge a book by its cover, but they all kind of look the same, right? They look scraggly. They look like they are not in the greatest of mental health. And you go back, you read manifestos, you see the stuff that they're looking at online. You see how they were reacting. They were all bullied. They were in a really bad place mentally, and then stuff like this happened. How do we fix this? Why is this happening? And well, we can go down that rabbit hole, but let's ask why is that happening? This used to never happen. Who has caused this? What has caused this? Is it the government? Was it the lockdowns? Is it prescription medications? Is it video games? Is it movies? Is it social media? Is it all this stuff? I have no idea. I think it is all of it put together, I guess. That's my humble opinion. How do we stop this? How do we fix this? I don't know. I really don't know. I just wish it would stop happening. I think along with everyone else, I know that's a pretty stupid, pretty dumb, simple statement, but I just wish it would stop happening. I really do. I don't know I have my theories. I have my ideas. We're not going to get into them today because a lot of people don't agree with me on some of those theories. But it's insane, man. Pay attention to your kids. All I'm going to say is pay attention to your kids. Know where they are. Know what kind of headspace they're in. Make their home life a good one. Ask questions. Be a friend to your kid. Be a parent to your kid. Know what they're doing. Be involved, right? Don't let the internet, don't let the video games, don't let social media and other people raise your kids for you. I know it's tough right now. I know that everyone's working 2 and 3 jobs. I mean, I own a business and I work another side job, and my wife has 2 or 3 jobs, and everyone's doing and working so hard, just fighting to stay afloat. People can't afford rent. They can't afford house payments. You can't even afford groceries. You can't afford fuel. People can't afford any of that stuff right now. And I get it. So they're just working, trying to keep their heads afloat. And I think the kids, your kids get kind of lost, and they get forgotten about, and they're being raised online. They're being raised by AI. They're being raised by the internet. They're being raised by social medias of all kinds. And essentially, if they're being raised by social media and they're being raised by the internet, they're being raised by the government. And that's not who you want to raise your kids. So just kind of slow down and let's kind of take a look at that. So anyhow, I'll step down off that. I know that was just my opinion piece, but hell, it's my podcast, and you're going to get my opinion, whether you like it or not. What do we got going on here at Patriot Defense? We're staying pretty busy with the permit classes. We got done with fair. The local fair season is over. We're in the middle of harvest, but I'm getting lots of private classes signed up. I'm sitting down, getting ready, and getting to other classes and other courses and other qualification type situations put together for next year. You guys will hear more about that when I kind of finish that out. I am, if you've been following the podcast for a long time, you remember back, this is years ago, I've got 5 kids. My 3 daughters are since grown up, married, moved out, all that good stuff, have kids of their own now. But when they were younger, along with my oldest son, when they were younger, they went to a school called Xavier Charter School. Fantastic little school. Over here, it's there's a waiting list to get your kids into that school. And when they first started going there, I was one of the guys that helped with a few of the other dads or other adults there, and helped them build up a trap and skeet team for the school. And it was fantastic. I think it's like 5th grade and up. You have to have a hunter safety, to prove that you've gone through that course, and your parent has to be there while you're shooting, and they have a fall season and a spring season. And I know my older kids went through that, and they loved it. All the kids out there shooting trap and skeet, sporting clays, and I'm going to tell you, they get pretty good, but they get out there, they compete, they get to go to state competitions. It's a ton of fun. And I thought I had actually... I thought that part of my life was over, but I do have a 10-year-old at home, and somehow he ended up back at Xavier Charter School. My wife got a job over there, and so we got him enrolled, and they went to their first meeting last week, and his trap and skeet season starts on Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to that. That reminds me, I got to go find some shells for him. I'm going to be into stocking up shotgun shells and possibly another youth model shotgun for him. But I look forward to that. It's a lot of fun. I love to see my kids excel at stuff that they like to do, stuff that they enjoy. And it's fun seeing those little kids out there trying so hard to raise that shotgun up and shoot the clay pigeons, and they get stronger and they get better at it, and they get to a point where they're really good at it and they don't need your help anymore, and they head to state and they compete, and they're great competition. So I look forward to getting back into that. I'm hoping that when I show up, they let me help coach a little, because that was a lot of fun. I'm not into sports really. One of my kids did track. One of my sons did track. He also did a little cross country. I enjoyed the cross country part of it, but my kids weren't into sports, so they get into something like this, and I'm like the sports dad, the sports parent all of a sudden. I absolutely love it. So I look forward to that. You guys, I'm sure, will hear lots of reports on that, me going forward. I'm trying to think of what else I was going to bring up. I know it's been a while since I did a podcast. I know I've got a few new listeners, new subscribers, and that they have listened to every single episode of the podcast. And I do appreciate that. And I it's humbling to think that you guys sat through all those podcasts. Way back at the very beginning, they weren't that great. And hopefully they've just gotten better, and then they get a little sparse, and then they kind of pick up. And just hang with me. If you've listened to all of them, just bear with me. We'll get more and more podcasts out to you. I always say that, and I haven't quit doing them. So they pop up every now and then, but we're starting to cool off around here, hopefully in the next couple weeks. So I'm looking at doing a little range maintenance. I'm looking at hopefully the private classes picking up some more, just because it's not 100 degrees out there. We did a rifle pistol transition class yesterday, and we had 2 or 3 guys here doing that, and that was a ton of fun. I've bought quite a few, at least for me, is a good amount of new firearms this year, this summer, and I've got my eye set on another one. We'll see if it happens. If it happens, I'll let you know what it is, but it's a good chunk of change, and I don't know that I need it. I just kind of want it at this point. So I did also do something that as a dad, I'm pretty proud of doing. I was able to get my son his first handgun, my oldest boy. He's moved out. He's on his own. And, he's always shot my handgun, so there's no need to buy him one. He could shoot all mine whenever he needed to. He just had to ask. And I presented him with his own the other day. He's got a little Springfield Armory Echelon, and it's a good little gun. I put a little, I think it was a Holosun 407K on it, and so he's pretty excited about that. I'm working on getting him a holster for that as well. He's going to get down here. He's going to take a permit class from me. Not like he hasn't sat through a few of them, but he's going to go and set through it again. His first official permit class that'll get him his permit, and so I look forward to that as well. But until then, everyone have a great week. And I know this is a short one, and it is what it is. So just listen or don't listen, man. I tell you what, if you don't like it, you get double your money back. Double your money back. But share this with a friend, share it with your family, share it on social media. It's the best way to share the podcast. Everyone have a great week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.